I was telling this story to family members this weekend, and they all collectively gasped and dropped their jaws. So you know it's a good story. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacy and I have once again screwed with my hair. Last time you saw me, I was extra blonde and then I overcompensated by adding way too much brown into my hair. I'm actually a lot more of a brunette than I look like, but I have blonde hair spray paint in it to try to lighten it. Basically, if I don't put out a video in the next couple weeks, it's because I'm bald. Anyway, I have for you guys a fun story time today. It's actually more of a video update and it is crazy. So if you guys have been following my channel for a little bit, you know I used to do a little bit more like vlog kind of content, and I vlogged several months ago how my brother and I auditioned for a reality TV show, and I'm gonna be giving you all of the tea on that audition and the subsequent show. And I know I say in all of my videos that wait till the end because there's some cinematic one-liner, which I think they all do. I'm not lying about that. But this one, you guys, has an M. Night Shyamalan twist to it. So make sure to stick around to the end. And if you like it, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can join us for more future story times. We like to hang out here. We have fun on this channel. So I hope you'll join us in the future. But with that being said, let's get started on this video update. So I will be referring to an old vlog that I did. I'll link it in the eye and down below. But basically, my brother and I auditioned for a reality show. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background on how the whole process went. So essentially, several months ago, I was perusing backstage.com. So what this site is, it's essentially Indeed, but for the entertainment industry. So you can apply for freelance gigs for acting, modeling, voiceover work. They even have reality TV show gigs, as well as like segments on Dr. Phil and like the Tonight Show kind of stuff. It's really wild, but it's super fun. So I've been exploring the entertainment industry this year, and I've been doing some modeling gigs on the side, and that's where I'm finding them. I'll leave my like referral code in the description box below if it's something that's interesting to you, but I've just been having fun with it, and I was looking through that site and I saw a listing for a reality TV show competition series. So they were looking for dynamic duos in the LA area. So siblings, couples, family, friends, all within the greater Los Angeles region. And I thought, well, I'm in Los Angeles, my brother's in Los Angeles, we're a dynamic duo. Let's apply for this gig. So I call up my brother and I say, hey Chad, there's this listing for some reality TV show competition series and they're looking for pairs. You want to do it with me? And he was like, yeah, I'm so down. You know, we're both in our 20s. How fun would it be to be on a reality show? You know, cross that off our bucket list. We just thought it was hysterical. So we applied, and the show, which I didn't reveal in the previous vlog, but I'm now telling you, was for NBC's Slip and Slide. So this show was essentially kind of like Wipeout, and Wipeout was the obstacle course one over all the water. This was kind of the same thing, but instead of the big red balls, it's all slip and slides and all kind of like obstacle course games involving slip and slides. So it was supposed to be super physical, it was supposed to have a cash prize, and it was supposed to just be fun. You know, who doesn't love slip and slides, you know? It just looked fun. So we submit our applications and we get a call back from the casting director who set up with us a phone interview, kind of like a three-way phone call. And this was just mostly an introduction to essentially confirm that we are outgoing and fun and would make for good TV personalities, that we are in fact a dynamic duo when we get along and know each other, and if we would just be a good fit for the overall show. So in this interview, she's asking us, are you guys competitive? What kind of sports did you play growing up? Have you guys been on a slip and slide type of things? And so my brother and I are just kind of like being silly and goofy, showing that we're outgoing and fun, but also kind of being serious that like, no, we love the competition. Like he grew up wrestling, I grew up playing soccer and other different sports, and we're both very competitive. We will crush the competition and we will have no mercy, in so many words. She was also just making sure that, you know, we had a good vibe. So she'd ask my brother a question about me, like, oh, what are some fun things you like to do with your sister, and vice versa. And we kind of explained that we both moved to Los Angeles during the same time, and we've become closer than ever moving away from home than we ever did living at home. And we go on hikes, we go out for food, and I record them for my YouTube channel. So the phone interview was going really well. We're all kind of vibing, and we're like, all right, this is going great. So well that she said, all right, you guys, I'd love to move you to the next round round of interviews. The next round will be a Zoom interview. Now, how this works in the pandemic world at the time was you do this Zoom interview, they record it, and then send it to the casting directors. So normally you would actually go in person and kind of meet them and audition and get to know them in person. That wasn't really the case. So this Zoom interview was kind of like the main audition. And I knew that because, again, I've done kind of jobs like this. And so we knew it was important. So she asks us, can you guys, are you free next Wednesday for a Zoom interview all together? And we said, do the two of us, my brother and I, have to be in the same room, or can like he be in his apartment and I be in my apartment? She said, no, you two need to be together. So now this is where it gets kind of interesting because my brother was actually set to go to New York for a week. He was going to a wedding with his girlfriend and he told her, I'm actually not available next week. Can we do it the following week? She said, we need all of our auditions in by next week. Can you guys do it in 2 days? I was gonna say my brother and I looked at each other. We're on the phone, so we didn't look at each other, but I was like, that works for me. Chad, does that work for you? And he's like, yeah, that works. And she was like, okay, then let's do it in 2 days. Now this ended up being kind of a little hiccup because it proved that we were kind of ill-prepared. So she told us that for our Zoom interview, we have to be together and they'd like us in either matching outfits or matching colors. And if we're wearing a matching color, something very bright and vibrant. She asked that we prep a team name, and again, kind of within like the slip and slide theme. And she kind of gave us like a general list of questions they'll ask, but nothing like too specific. She was just like, oh, it's gonna be very similar to this. We're just gonna ask like how competitive you are and what your dynamic is with each other. So my brother and I only had 2 days to prepare and we just didn't prepare. So I called my brother and I was like, okay, Chad, just bring anything green. You know, that's kind of the only color that I wear because he doesn't have a lot of color in his wardrobe either. And we did not have enough time to go out and buy matching outfits or buy new color shirts. I was also kind of telling him, okay, here's how these interviews go. They're just gonna like talk to us. It's gonna be just like this phone call, but you know, over Zoom. So we're just gonna need to be like high energy, really peppy, that sort of thing. So the Zoom interview day comes and my brother shows up in like a nice collared shirt that's green. And I was like, oh shoot, that's nicer than I was expecting, dang. But I also have like a green collared shirt, so I guess we are kind of matching. It wasn't bright at all, but we did look a little bit more like, I would say professional than probably what they were looking for, so that was probably like strike number one. So we start the Zoom interview and it goes terribly, all because of the technical difficulties. So what had happened was I have my camera here and I use this for all my Zoom interviews because my laptop, believe it or not, does not have a webcam. I know, it's pretty stupid. So I have to hook up this huge DSLR and kind of use that as my webcam. Now this has always worked to my advantage because it's like high quality and people are like, wow, are you filming in heaven? And I'm like, no, it's just a really expensive camera that I'm using. So that was happening with this Zoom call, but the problem was that they asked us to stand up and stand away from the camera because they were gonna have us like moving around a ton. And so my camera is set to focus like right here in the middle. And so what would happen is when we'd come out, let me see if I can do it. Like it wasn't focusing on us fast enough because there was two of us. I don't want to get too into the technicalities of it, but she said, hey, your camera's not focusing on either of you and I need this recorded. Can you fix your camera? So I start fiddling with my camera and I was like, it's not working. I need to like restart my camera. I had to restart my camera, turn it on, and then it just stopped focusing completely. And I'm no tech wizard, so I couldn't figure it out. We ended up having to completely restart the Zoom call, and we're at this point now like 10 minutes late just because of the technical difficulties. Nah, that was on me. Take full responsibility. So we start the Zoom interview, and this casting director is so fun. She's so high energy, and she's kind of directing us because, again, she's on our side. She wants to cast us to the casting network, you know? So she's on our side. So when we're talking, she'd be on the Zoom call being like, bigger, more, like, more energy, more energy. What ended up happening, I would say, was kind of like, again, being a little bit ill-prepared with my brother, was that I kind of prepped answers and he prepped kind of the same answers, but they wanted different answers. So here's an example. She'd be like, oh, like Jacy, like how competitive are you guys? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I am so competitive. I used to be in a men's soccer league and I grew up playing 3 different sports at the same time. My brother here, he was a wrestler. He was like a very good swimmer. He also played soccer and baseball. We love competition, sort of thing. And she'd be like, nice. And what about you, Chad? And he'd be like, yeah, she grew up playing all these different sports and I also played sports. And so then the casting director would be like, okay, can you give us like something different? And then he'd be like, well, I don't know what else to say, kind of thing. And so this ended up happening where she would ask us a question, and after a while I kind of just started bumping my brother to be like, you answer it first, and then I'll kind of improv off of you and come up with something new. And I think it was just completely both of our faults that we didn't like practice, and she full on gave us like the questions they would ask. We just didn't like prep our answers enough. We were like, nah, we'll get by on sheer personality alone. I don't think we did. So another funny thing that happened during this interview was she asked us, okay, what's your guys' team name? And we were like, oh, we're gonna go with the Rubber Duckies. And she was like, oh, that's so funny. You know, it's water themed, it's cutesy. Why? And we were like, oh, because we're fun and unassuming and nobody would expect us to win. And so then she's trying to like guide us. She was like, or maybe you guys can say that, you know, you always push a rubber ducky underwater, but it always comes back up to the surface, and you can relate that to you guys winning. And we'd be like, yeah, totally. And she'd be like, now you guys say it. And so we'd say, oh yeah, we're the Rubber Duckies because you push us underwater and we come back up. And it was just not working. We were just kind of like, again, just not very prepared. And I think the final knife in our back was the very last question she asked us was she said, okay, Chad, what sets you and your sister apart from all of the other teams applying to be on Slip and Slide? And, you know, my brother's like, well, you know, what other teams don't have is that we're brother and sister. So we kind of like connect on a different level. Like we can read each other's minds. We both kind of will tag team different sort of obstacles where she's kind of the thinker and I'm more of the physical side of it. And we'll just work together that way. And she was like, okay. And Jacy, what do you think sets your team apart? And I'm like thinking in my head, I guess nothing when you put it like that. Like we're just a normal brother and sister duo.
What's unique about your team versus the other sibling teams?
What sets us apart from other sibling teams is that we're actually friends outside of this. So I could have easily just applied as, oh, I'm taking my friend on this show sort of thing. And not even told you he was my brother, because Chad and I are so close. We share the same sense of humor. We share the same mind, that the family aspect is great because it's like, well, we're going to be stuck with each other for life. So we might as well enjoy it. So I think we have that connection that other people just don't have.
Not to mention, something that separates us from other groups is that we're just cooler. Simple as that.
So what I'm alluding to is that we did not get the part for this show. Now you might be wondering, but Jacy, the title is clickbaity because you said it was a reality show nightmare and you weren't even on the show. Well, let me tell you guys what happened next, okay? Because something happened. So we knew we didn't get the part because they said, we'll contact you in May if you got the part and we're interested and we can film. And how the filming would have worked was there's some water park here in the greater Los Angeles area that they were gonna convert for this TV show and film for this NBC show. May came and went and we were like, dang, we clearly didn't get the part because we never got that phone call. But one day, I was scrolling through my news. I get a lot of my news through Daily Mail on Snapchat. Please don't judge me. It's kind of like my gossip magazine guilty pleasure. I don't even know. But I was swiping and I came across this headline. What the oh my cats, you guys, did we dodge a bullet? So this is the reason I am telling you about this show, because I have done other modeling gigs and I will not disclose any kind of information, especially if they did hire me. But this show is now canceled because everybody got sick. So let's deep dive into this. What ended up happening was a crew member on the set tested positive for Giardia. So I'm just gonna read this here, but it says that Giardia is a microscopic parasite that when swallowed causes diarrheal disease. It can be found on surfaces or in soil, food, or water that has been contaminated with feces from infected people or animals. So somehow they ingested water that was infected with feces. Somebody commented, slip and slide? More like ultimate and slide. Yep, but the Wrap reported that up to 40 crew members fell violently ill, and the set experienced an outbreak of awful explosive diarrhea, with some people collapsing and being forced to run to porta potties. That is not the kind of reality show bucket list item I was looking to cross off.
I'd like to point out that I don't mean to laugh at the misfortune of everybody who did get sick. I'm just laughing at the irony of it and the fact that I was able to avoid that situation. So, I mean, no offense by laughing at anybody who got sick.
Now, I am familiar with Giardia because I actually used to have a dog who had Giardia. And what it is, and sorry if this is too graphic, but basically my dog would have diarrhea unexpectedly and uncontrollably all around the house all the time. It was completely uncontrollable and disgusting. And my dog had it. And these humans had it. So one crew member tested positive for it. So then they were like, oh shoot, did everybody else catch it? Everybody else caught it for the most part. So then they had to test, the actual slip and slide water. They tested the pond water. They tested all of the sewage, the sink water, every kind of water, and none of it tested positive for Giardia. However, they did find that the set surroundings tested positive, so I don't really know how that works. But they had to completely shut down production, and the premiere has been delayed. It was supposed to premiere during the Olympics, and they completely delayed it, and almost indefinitely it may not return because it is already tarnished with this disgusting fact. And you guys, I cannot stress this enough. I'll leave some news links below because it's actually really interesting. People were straight up collapsing from this. They were in so much pain and discomfort, and on their way to the restroom, they were collapsing. Holy moly! That could have been me! Anyway, I was talking to some family members about it, and they were like, hey, did you and Chad ever get cast for that show? And I was like, actually, fun fact, we narrowly avoided getting a severe case of diarrhea and having to go to the hospital. All for a slip and slide show. Like, what? So that was that's the twist ending, was that I didn't even get cast for the show, but I narrowly avoided a hospital visit and some chronic illness. My goodness, a parasite for some wipeout knockoff show? Heck no. Oh, my cats, we dodged a bullet there, folks. So that's just the quick story time update video. I just thought it was too funny to not share, and because some of you guys have reached out to me going, ooh, like, was this gig the secret gig you couldn't tell us about? Nope, it was the slip and slide show, and again, because the show is now canceled and I didn't even get it, I feel a little bit more comfortable disclosing some of these details to you guys. But I thank you guys so much for watching. It's always such a blast hanging out with you, and I hope you'll join me in the next video. I'll talk to you soon. I feel like I'm hanging up on a phone call. Anyway, toodles! Man, the other thing that sucks is that Bobby Moynihan and Rob Funches were the hosts. I love them. Would it have been worth getting violently ill to hang out with them? I don't know, probably.